they like have a dress code. They always they have very harsh views and extremist views towards things. Like as Daktari said, it could be a social issue that they want addressed, and they feel the only way they can be heard is if they take up arms. So some also commit crimes in that organized group, for economic means, or maybe for political, just to have their own territory or something.
And I wonder, is it just really the issue of unemployment that creeps in here, or is it also something to do with a sense of belonging that a young person is looking for?
Yeah, well, if you look at what the recruiters do, they pick, they look at the most vulnerable in society, especially when some of these groups are looking for fighters. People with like high energy, but you know, they can be controlled. They go for the youth, and especially young teenage boys from between the ages of, let's say, 13 to 24. You know, these are very impressionable group. So we find that if a member of this group is facing a societal issue, let's say acceptance at home, you know, rejection, let's say, you know, poverty, could be an orphan, you don't have any means. So it's easier for them to be pulled, by the lure of money or acceptance. Sometimes. All
right. Sheikh, let me bring you in at this particular point. It's not just Muslim faithfuls who are being recruited, but we do know that Islamic radicalization seems to be more common. Maybe you can tell us how religion is being used as a tool to recruit young minds.
Okay, good morning. First thing, it's against the religion of Islam. First of all, most of us, we know, meaning of Islam, it's peace. But these things, there are certain factors that makes a lot of these young people or old people to be in this caliber. And most of them may be economic. But on my side, I think most of them, it's ignorance. They don't know what they are doing. They have been brainwashed. Somebody come with some ideologies to tell somebody, when you do something like this, when happens like that, you'll get this. That's the main problem. But this one, in Islamic perspective, it's something which it's against. Islam don't accept such things. And
so when you're engaging young people at the mosque, what do they tell you? Do they tell you, oh, I was promised this, niliambiwa hivi na hivi, and this is why I'm doing, or I'm joining this particular group?
Okay, it depends with the place you are. Like where in the mosque which I am, I appreciate. We don't have such cases. But most of these people, and the people who like to radicalize these people, their main agenda is to look at the new Muslims, the convertees to Islam. They come, they tell them, you need the shortcut for you to go to heaven. This is the way you're supposed to do. And this world of ours, it's just very short. You want to enjoy your life, you should do that. So us in our mosque, when we get chance with these youths, we tell them about the Islam. You can't harm somebody. You can't do something for your own benefit. In fact, Islam, amongst the things Islam came to look at, it's the right of a person, whether he's a Muslim, is not a Muslim. You can't do something to harm somebody because of your own, because you want something. So for us in our side, we just tell them, this is not the way, this is not Islam. We have the stories of our prophets, we have the stories of good people, but most of the people, like I've said, they just follow their what? Their things in their heart, but it's against the Islam.
Okay. All right. Well, you know, we actually want to bring this home for you, and we want to share with you true stories that have been happening on the ground. These are brave individuals who have decided that they do want to talk about how they managed to get recruited into some of these extremist groups. Now, for the sake of their security, we are not going to be, of course, mentioning names, including some of the groups that they were recruited into, but let's just bring it home for you.
Halima Muhammad. Nikapigia kazini yangu anaitwa Asha. Nikampigia simu nikamwambia kama uko Lamu unaweza pata kazi kwa sababu huko Nairobi nimetafuta nimekosa. Sasa akaniambia kama naweza kuja Lamu ni sawa. So mimi nikaamua kufunga virago zangu niende Lamu kutafuta kazi. Watoto nilikuwa nimeachia mamangu kutafuta kazi. Umesikia hapa kuna kazi? Niliambiwa hapa kuna kazi kama naweza kuja kufanya kazi. Sasa wasichana wako nijibu, waliniangalia akaniambia sawa. So mimi nikaenda nikafuata ule mtu alinileta nikamwambiaje, wewe si uliniambia mimi nakuja kufanya kazi? Iko wapi kazi yangu? Iko wapi kazi yenye uliniambia nakuja kufanya? Yeye akasema, unataka kazi? Ngoja, simama tu hapo nakuletea. Akaenda akaniletea hizo manguo za jeshi, hizo za Al-Shabaab wenye wanavaa, hizo uniform zao. Kaniletea uniform mingi, ndio hii kazi zifue. Kaniwekea hapo. Na pia maviatu zao kaniwekea hapo, zipanguze, piga rangi. Nilikuwa napiga makelele. Na huyo mtu alikuwa ananipiga. So akanivuta akaniweka kwa nyumba na akafunga mlango. Singeweza kutoka nje. So mimi nilikuwa tu naitisha msaidizi aseme nisaidieni. Huyu mtu anataka kunirape, nisaidieni. Lakini mimi nikiitisha usaidizi ni kama nawaita au Al-Shabaab wakuje. So huyo mwingine akamfungulia mlango na akaingia. Mimi niko nadhani kama watakuja kunisaidia. Lakini hawajakuja kunisaidia, wamekuja kunirape. So mmoja akanilalisha chini. Akaanza kunirarulia nguo, akianza kunirape. So mwingine pena bado akakuja. Akakuja kunirape bado. Watatu akakuja. Hapo ndo I think mimi nilipasa. Mimi sikujua nini inaendelea. Mimi naitwa Halima.
Well, that's a very heartbreaking story indeed. Just one example that we have shared with you about what's truly happening on the ground and how young people are being recruited to join extremist groups. And we're talking about youth radicalization. But Kevin, you work hand in hand with a lot of these young people who, for lack of a better word, have been rehabilitated from doing, some of these violent acts. But listening to that story, it just wasn't about being recruited. They took advantage of her. So let's talk a little bit about the tactics that some of these recruiters are using. And Dr. Beatrice, feel free to jump in, because in her case, she was promised a job.
Yes.
Before she knows it, she's being held captive. And then now being forced to be part of some group with whatever agenda they have.
Sometimes, well, other than the pull and push factor, that could be either economic or being lured, or you're pushed just because you feel aggravated by the society you're in, let's say at home, and you're like finding escapism to a certain group. There's also the deceit factor, whereby mtu anakuja anapromise a job. Like we had, there's a time there was that case in 2016. Apparently some guys were promising a UN job for women in Somalia. Like that's a job, that's like by the title itself. You jump onto it real quick. So they were taken somewhere like for orientation or something like that, but they found their way into some of these captors. And they went and became jihadi brides.
Oh, wow.
So you either serve them, like a community wife, or you're left there to do reproduction, like produce more babies to.
And this is happening.
It is happening, yes. And most of them are trapped inside those societies where
my God,
some of these extremist groups are controlled, be it ISIS or Al-Shabaab or
Dr. Beatrice, how has COVID-19 contributed to the rise in some of these recruitments, in your opinion?
In my opinion, it will be the fact that many people have lost their jobs, they have no income, and particularly the youth.
Yeah.
They are idle, they have a lot of time at hand, and they don't have food, they have no occupation, and so finding somebody promising them something, it is a very easy tag for them to move on.
Yeah. Sheikh, some say we should probably point a finger at the government because the government is not providing basic services for our youth, whether it's even job creation. When you talk about things like even empowerment programs, where are they so that the youth are not left idle, as you know, Dr. Beatrice has actually said, because we all know what an idle mind is.
Yeah, because most of them, the main thing, like we saw that, it's poverty. That woman was promised, you come there, there is job like that.
Yeah. So
this one, it's for the government even. They should maintain, they should know about their youth. Because if you leave idle mind, something satanic will come to you.
Yeah.
So it's up for the government, for all these things.
Yeah.
At least to look at the youths, because you leave them idols the way we are. Like I heard your program before this.
Yeah.
This Kazi Mtani, this one is not enough. In Kenya, I think 75% it's youth.
Yeah.
But you find this Kazi Mtani, it's around 10 or 15%. What about the other youths? That's why you see in the big cities, in wherever, we'll see a lot of gangsters, thieves, and these radicalization things, because somebody can't leave his good job, his good office where he works, to go and do some notorious things like this. So it's up for the government. Because I think now they have the data of the people with those Huduma numbers, things like that. They should know the youths where they are, what they are doing. So it's up for the government to up their socks for these things, to minimize the things in this country.
Okay. You do know our numbers at the bottom of the screen. Just a minute, Kevin. Want to remind our viewers that they can actually contribute to our ongoing conversation. We, of course, are going to be taking a look at our social media platforms as well at K24 TV. As always, when Social Hour, gets to this particular point, we always like to remind you of our question of the day. And we have this one for you today. And we ask, how can we go about protecting young people from being lured into extremist groups? How do you think we can go about protecting our youth rather from being lured into extremist groups? I'll be sampling your feedback in just a moment, but Kevin, you seemed to wanted to add to Sheikh's point. What did you want to say?
This effort, to add on to what Dr. Sheikh said about government's involvement in all this. Well, we should also look at it as a societal problem. Where it's everyone's job to take care of this group because they're vulnerable. They're what we call high energy, low IQ.
Yes.
So this group, let's say like members of civil society, would say, well, there's a program we run called the Lenga Ugaidi in Atalanta, like what I'm wearing here. So the Lenga Ugaidi in Atalanta seeks to use the youth energy and talent in this fight, and let's say we fight crime and terrorism using art. We have short film, music, and poetry competitions. That we use to engage the youth. Other than keeping them busy in content creation, there's also an awards program where we rank some of them like the best liked video on YouTube. Like that's a competition that's running right now. So even the media, I'd say, the content that you show this youth, they are young minds. If you don't teach them at home, and if you don't tell them anything, we as the people who are older than them, they look up to the people they see on TV. Like I'll give an example. Vybz Kartel. A Jamaican musician. Vybz Kartel has never stepped foot in Kenya, but there's a group that came up in Kayole called Gaza. That follows his philosophy, which was channeled through music, through Jamaican dancehall music. So, as the media also.
It's the kind of influence that we have.
Exactly.
What do you think would be the long-term effects, Dr. Beatrice, that some of these recruitments have on the individual, on their families, on communities?
As an individual, really speaking, the person loses direction focus in life.
Right.
Because if he goes into terrorism, the most likely thing at the end of the day, he might end up in jail or he might end up being killed, and the family will lose that family member.
Yeah.
As a society, we are going to have a lot of insecurity if this really keeps on going on. And when there is no security in our society, we fear to invest.
Yeah.
Because when you invest, your investment is brought down in a day. So people will not invest. When there is no investment, then there are no jobs being created.
So we really underestimate what a peaceful society and a thriving community, you know, is.
Yeah, sure we do. A lot of time we take the peaceful environments that we are living in for granted until something strikes.
Yes.
And that is the time we realize. And take it from me, we can talk about youth being involved in funny groups.
Yeah.
And we talk about it there until my son is involved in that. That is the time it will hit on me hard. And it will be too late.
Yes.
Because I will not be now in a position to change what has happened.
Right.
And so it is high time the society takes up responsibility in whichever level one is. We start small as individuals.
Yeah.
We start small as communities. And that's why I really appreciate the church organization and even the Muslim organization. You will find in the church setup, there are youth groups. Groups where the youth are told about God. Groups where they are told, in addition to the word of God, they are also told life skills.
Right.
And it is these life skills that the youth need to use to earn themselves income and also to behave in the society and in the family. But it's really a challenge the way we are now. We want to push the issue to the government. It's true the government has a contribution to it because when we have, we don't have, like now they are at home.
Right.
What is there for them?
Exactly. Okay. So it's high time we start thinking. We want to take a look at your feedback as far as this particular discussion is concerned. We've been asking you what we can do to really keep our brothers, our sisters, our children safe at this particular time, especially during COVID-19, because this is a great time to start, you know, recruiting individuals. And so taking a look at WhatsApp very quickly, we've got Doris Namu here, who's tuned in from Embu County, who says, every youth is vulnerable to radicalization. There were programs which were to kick off countrywide before the outbreak of corona. I attended those trainings on counter-violent extremism. Kindly let the team sensitive stages on radicalization. This will assist parents to notice the change in behaviors of the youth. It's not only Muslims, by the way, but any youth can be radicalized. I like Doris's thinking there. Morning, Shiko. These domestic radicalizations is making us, the youth, go through much pain. The president must do something about it. All right, your take on our discussion today. We'll be sampling more of your feedback as we get back to this discussion in just a moment. We're still in studio with Kevin Wigwa, Dr. Beatrice Nzo, and of course, Sheikh Ramadhan Mwangi. Call us as well. We'd love to hear your voice. We'll be back.